Desmond Thomas Doss was born on February 7, 1919, in Lynchburg, Virginia. Desmond's parents' names are William and Bertha Doss. Later on, he would come to have a younger brother named Harold Doss. Desmond began work at a lumber company after completing 1 year of high school. Being raised as a strict Seventh-day Adventist, he became a deacon of the Park Avenue Seventh-day Adventist Church when he was 21. In March 1941, Doss began working as a ship joiner at the Newport News Naval Shipyard. After the United States entered World War II, he was offered a military deferment, but chose instead to join the Army on the 1st of April 1942. Doss married Dorothy Pauline Shute on the 17th of August 1942 before going on active duty. And although his faith forbid him from bearing arms, Doss willingly served in the military. Doss became a medic in the 307th Infantry Regiment. Doss was constantly harassed for his religious beliefs, but this would soon stop because he would be making some incredibly courageous actions. During the heavy fighting at Okinawa that began on the 29th of April 1945, Doss undertook a series of remarkable actions that earned him the nation's highest military honor and the nickname the Wonder Man of Okinawa. On the first day, he was credited with rescuing 75 men who had come under withering artillery, mortar, and machine gun fire at the top of a cliff. And I quote, "They had no way of getting back, and I could not leave them up there." He later said, "I was the only medical corpsman with them, so I just went ahead and continued to pick up the wounded still lying in front of the lines, and then began the job of getting them off the cliff." Close quote. On the 2nd of May, 1945, facing heavy machine gun fire, Doss rescued a wounded man 200 yards in front of the American lines. 2 days later, he made 4 trips under fire to treat and save 4 wounded men within 25 feet of a heavily defended Japanese cave. On the 5th of May, Doss braved Japanese artillery fire to attend a wounded artillery officer, whom he moved to safety and to whom he then administered plasma. Later that day, he carried another wounded soldier 100 yards to safety while under enemy shelling and small arms fire. During a night attack on the 12th of May, he was tending to a wounded soldier and an exploding grenade seriously injured him in both legs, but he dressed his own wounds rather than call other medics away from the battle. 5 hours later, while being carried from the battlefield, Doss jumped off his stretcher and directed other medics to help a more critically wounded soldier. After being struck in the arm by enemy fire, Doss used a rifle stock as a splint and crawled about 300 yards to a medical aid station. Doss was the first conscientious objector to receive the Medal of Honor. Promoted to corporal, he joined 14 other men who received their medals at the White House on the 12th of October 1945. Doss rode the bus to Lynchburg 2 weeks later for a parade in his honor. He spent about 6 years in military and Veterans Administration hospitals recovering from his wounds and was never physically able to work at a full-time job after that. While Doss was in the Veterans Hospital in Richmond, doctors discovered that he had contracted tuberculosis. He had a lung and 5 ribs removed, and later in 1976, he had lost his hearing suddenly. Desmond Thomas Doss died at his home in Piedmont, Alabama, of a respiratory ailment on the 23rd of March 2006 and was buried in the Chattanooga National Cemetery in Tennessee.